Hello! I am writing in great need of help and guidance. I am a mother of a small child, 1 year old, and I am currently in an extremely difficult period in my life. I look after my child almost entirely alone. I have no real help. At the same time, I have a close relative with cancer who is being treated abroad, and this is additionally exhausting me emotionally and mentally. In recent years, I have experienced several serious medical traumas, medical errors during my pregnancy, a serious situation with a sick loved one, and a medical error with my child when he was a baby. This completely destroyed my trust in the medical system, and since then I have been living in constant anxiety about my health, mine and my child's. My mind is constantly in danger mode. I constantly observe the child, look for symptoms, read medical information until late at night. I am afraid of illnesses, diagnoses, and mistakes. I have almost no peaceful moment. I feel that anxiety consumes me completely and does not allow me to enjoy my child normally. I also have a very strong anxiety about vaccines, not out of ideology, but out of fear of medical error. I postpone them because I am afraid, but at the same time I'm also afraid if I do not give them. I feel completely trapped. No matter what I do, I feel a strong fear and guilt. I am additionally tormented by the thought that if the child gets sick, I have to look after him, work, and cope on my own at the same time. I am afraid that this constant stress will make me sick too.
Okay, first things first, let's just take a moment and acknowledge the immense weight of that. If any part of that story resonates with you, I want to start with the single most important thing you need to hear. What you are feeling is not a personal failure. It's a completely human response, and we're going to break down exactly why.
These are the exact judgments we tend to throw at ourselves when we're completely overwhelmed, right? But here's the thing, those labels, they're just not accurate. They don't help. This experience of nonstop anxiety, especially after something traumatic, it has absolutely nothing to do with being weak.
No, what this really is, it's a totally understandable human response to a series of truly overwhelming events. Think of it as a sign of deep exhaustion. It's your nervous system telling you it's been pushed way past its limits. Your mind and your body have been stuck in survival mode for way, way too long. And that's the crucial takeaway here. This is a condition. It is not a character flaw.
So the big question is, why does it feel so relentless? Why can't you just snap out of it or think your way out? Well, the reason is that this kind of anxiety isn't just a thought. It's actually a deeply ingrained physical state in your body. Let's dive into the mechanics of what's happening inside the brain, this trauma loop.
Okay, so after a major trauma, the brain can literally get stuck in the on position. There's a term for this, chronic nervous system activation. Basically, the part of your nervous system that handles your fight or flight response, it's working overtime. It's like the smoke alarm is going off, but the all clear button is broken, so it just stays on high alert 24/7, constantly scanning for any sign of danger.
And what this does is it basically installs a new operating system in your brain. Trauma teaches the brain a brand new set of rules, and this becomes the default program running in the background. The world is dangerous. I am on my own, and if I drop my guard for even a second, something awful will happen. So every single action you take, every late-night Google search, every time you check for a symptom, it's all being driven by this core trauma-induced program.
And this is how that vicious cycle, that self-reinforcing loop, gets started. It goes like this. A little flicker of fear pops up. The brain, running on its new programming, immediately starts searching for evidence to prove that fear is real. And let's be honest, you can always find something, right? A tiny cough, a weird spot, whatever. And boom, the brain finds its proof. That confirmation sends a jolt of anxiety through your whole system, which just reinforces the brain's original belief that, see, I was right to be scared. And that loop just gets stronger and stronger every time it spins.
Okay, now let's connect this back to that really specific dilemma mentioned in the post, the one about vaccines. Because this isn't just about making a tough decision. No, this is a perfect textbook example of a kind of trauma-induced paralysis. It's sometimes called the double anxious bind.
And it is absolutely critical that we make a distinction here. The fear we're talking about is not ideological. It's not based on some philosophy or an abstract belief system. It is traumatic fear. It's born from real, lived experiences where the very system that was supposed to protect you ended up causing harm. And just acknowledging that, validating that simple fact, is the first real step to understanding why this paralysis happens.
Think about it. When every single path forward seems to be lined with this intense, trauma-based fear, what you're left with isn't a choice. It's paralysis. You've got the fear of another medical error on one side and the fear of illness on the other.
It's like being trapped between two roaring fires. And the mind, faced with two equally terrifying outcomes, just freezes. It shuts down.
So that brings us to maybe the single most important piece of advice for anyone in this situation. You absolutely cannot make a clear decision from a state of paralysis. It's impossible. Trying to logic your way out of it while your nervous system is screaming danger at the top of its lungs, it just won't work. So the first priority, the only priority right now, is to work on the fear itself. Bring down the intensity. The decision, that can wait.
Okay, so how do you even begin to work on that fear? Well, this is where specialized support comes in. And I have to be clear, not just any therapist is going to be the right fit. It is absolutely crucial to find someone who is specifically equipped with the right tools for this very specific challenge.
So when you start searching, you're going to want to use some very specific language. Look for a trauma-informed therapist. That means they'll understand that your symptoms are actually coping mechanisms. Search for someone who specializes in medical trauma. They're going to get the source of your fear right away. And don't discount postpartum anxiety. Even if it's been a year or more, this is often exactly when these feelings can hit their peak.
And you can also look for therapists trained in these specific evidence-based methods, things like EMDR or somatic experiencing. These are designed to work directly with the traumatic memories and the nervous system. They help your body finally release that stored danger signal. Then there's trauma-focused CBT, which is all about identifying and challenging those thought patterns that keep that anxiety loop spinning.
And here's a really important red flag to watch out for. Please empower yourself to be a discerning client here. If any professional ever minimizes what you're going through, if they say something like, just think positively, or, oh, it's only anxiety, that is your signal that they are not the right fit. Walk away. Your experience is real, it is valid, and it requires a specific kind of care that truly honors what you have been through.
Now, finding the right professional help can take a little time. So while you're on that search, what can you do right now to get even a tiny bit of relief? Let's go over a few small, immediate things you can do to help calm your nervous system down.
First up, let's talk about putting some structure around the one behavior that really feeds that anxiety loop, the constant research. This isn't about sticking your head in the sand, it's about containing it. So, create a media diet for yourself. By setting a strict schedule for any medical reading, you start to take back control from that compulsive urge to check, especially right before you go to sleep, which is when anxiety loves to kick into high gear. Next, let's learn to communicate directly with your body. Remember, this anxiety is physical, so grounding techniques are your friend. Things like literally planting your feet firmly on the floor, or hopping in a warm shower and just focusing on the feeling of the water on your skin. These simple physical sensations can pull your brain out of all those what-if worries and bring it right back into the present moment. Even just a slow, long exhale. It's one of the fastest ways to send a message to your nervous system that says, hey, it's safe to stand down right now.
And finally, a simple but really powerful tool. Use your own voice. Saying a phrase like this out loud actually does two incredible things. One, it acknowledges the feeling is real. You're not trying to pretend it isn't there. But two, it correctly labels it. This feeling is a memory. It's an echo of something that happened in the past, not proof of a danger that is happening right now. And that simple act can create just a tiny sliver of space between you and that overwhelming feeling.
So to bring this all home, let's go back to where we started. If you see yourself in this story, I really hope you can begin to see what I see. Not weakness, not failure, but incredible, unbelievable strength. To have gone through so much, so often, alone, with no safety net, and to still be here, to still be standing, still fighting for your child and for yourself, that right there is the very definition of resilience.
So much of this work is just about finally being able to step out of that constant survival mode. And that leads me to one last question for you to hold on to. You don't need an answer right now, not at all. Think of it more as planting a seed of hope for the future. The question is this: when survival mode finally ends, what could come next?